Morning, everyone. So good to connect with you again after a lovely weekend. I barely made it up for this morning's live, and I thought it would be a good idea to do this week's live in English. I guess a boertjie, but I'm fluent in English, obviously. So I love both, and obviously how I choose which language to use would revolve around the audience and some of the messages that I received. But nonetheless, I'd like to speak to you today about this concept. He loves her, and most likely he really does love her. He provides for her, he laughs with her, maybe he even prays every night with her. But then all of a sudden, it seems to be out of the blue, he betrays her, or his betrayal has been discovered. And the fact of the matter is that this betrayal is not because he stopped loving her. And I know that may come as a shock to many of you, but this betrayal is because there's a war inside of every man that he himself doesn't understand, and that doesn't make sense to the mind of the normal person. And I know today, if you're watching this, you already know maybe what I'm talking about. Because maybe you've seen it, or maybe you've lived through something like this or something similar. And the truth is this: that a man can love deeply and still betray the very love he swore to protect. Maybe that promise was made at the altar. Maybe it's just because of the sanctity of relationship. So here's the thing: pornography doesn't start with lust. Wow, this is a powerful saying. The porn that the men are watching, have been watching on epidemic levels, doesn't start with lust. It starts with pain. Porn viewing doesn't start with lust, it starts with pain. Somewhere along the way, a man has learned that his pain was a little bit too heavy for him to carry. So they discovered a way, they stumbled into a way of escaping the pain instead. So before they escaped into the pain, they erected some walls. And those walls that he has built, and you know what I'm talking about, the walls that has been built splits a man's soul into two parts. It splits him into the man that he shows the people outside, and behind the walls, the man that he hides. So, a scripture comes to mind that says, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And I think for the first time, somewhere right now, I'm realizing what that double-mindedness may refer to. A person that's divided, a husband that's with one foot in the light and another foot in the dark. That is a clear picture of a double. Someone that can hold his wife with one hand, so holding his wife with one hand, and hides behind his phone with the other, who hide behind the wall with the other. And maybe he tells himself in this process that it doesn't mean anything. In fact, I know that 99% of men, when they're busy with pornography, convinces themselves that it doesn't mean anything. But deep down, we know, and we know that what we're doing isn't love, it's escape. So the mark of a man is his ability to shoulder pain. And in that sentence, I see the image of Jesus. Real men don't hide from pain. They redeem it. they transform it, they make it into something that it wasn't before the time. But I think the issue is that most men haven't ever in their entire lives been shown how to do this. I think what we are shown every single day is how to suppress the pain, how to toughen up, how to shut down. Cowboys don't cry. So we found another false comfort. False comfort in screens, in fantasy, in lies, in pixels. So when a man avoids pain, he loses his presence. Because he would rather escape into the pit of pain than come face to face with the present reality of his life. It's exactly what happens. The second mark of masculinity or manhood is this, is to be present, to be where your feet are. I battle with this one. I fight it every single day. Try my best to be present in every single moment, not to be sucked in, even with WhatsApp or whatever messages are supposed to come in. Just to be here, to be fully emotionally and spiritually present. It's one of the hardest battles. But you see, fighting this battle will increase your capacity. All of these things revolves around emotions. Addiction is one thing, it's inability to deal with emotions. And if we don't deal with our emotions, we escape into absence, into the abyss, into the depth of ourselves, that space behind the walls. So porn teaches men to disappear, to look alive, but not to be present. And women can feel that. I think most men, if you're watching this, sense that he's not present. She feels the absence, even when he's sitting right next to her. How sad is this? That millions and millions of men are sitting right next to their partners, but they're not present. Their head and their heart is someone else. And here's the thing: they're sitting next to their wives, or their partners, or their girlfriends, or whatever, and they do not understand what they do. I do not understand what I do. That also sounds like a scripture. I think it's Romans 17 that says, I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do. And this is again Paul, a man, writing this. It's like, I hate doing this, but it's like I'm compelled to escape because the pain has just become unbearable. And this is the story of millions and millions of men. Men that want to be present, but they're trapped in the lure of absence. They're being drawn into this absence because the weight of their emotions is just too much. It's just too much. I think also men are made to protect. Men are made to protect not only physically. There's a desire inside of us that wants to protect. So it's not just physically, it's also emotionally. But to build safety with words and honesty and integrity requires presence and ability to face pain. So if we can face our pain, if we can be present, then we are activated or engaged to protect. But I think when a man hides, he becomes the danger that he was created to defend against. A man that's absent, that's not present, is dangerous, it's volatile. You see, because it robs those around him from the experience of real life. I think that is the biggest cost of pornography, the experience of love and life. So porn doesn't just betray a body of a person, it betrays the bond of a person. It betrays the bond that you have with a person. And every click that you click away whispers that you are not worth the truth. You are not worth the truth. And that is an insult to every single human being. We are made to carry and receive and deal with truth. If we do not deal with truth, if someone withholds the truth from us, we feel worthless. We feel like we cannot do this. It's just too much. Like even from young, my kids appreciate the fact that I tell them the truth. That we are just made to absorb the light that is truth. So I think I just said a lot now. Porn doesn't just betray a body, it betrays a bond. But I think the most important bond of all is the bond that we have with God. And also, again, throughout scripture, I see how God is drawn to to darkness. From Genesis 1, verse 1, the light went forth into the darkness. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of people say this. I think this is my opinion. Please share with me what you think of this. If you don't agree with me, use the comment section below. But I think God is drawn to darkness. Light goes after darkness. Light pierces darkness. And in the same manner, he is after the darkness of our hearts. That's what he wants. He wants to transform that darkness, but there's something between him and that darkness, which is choice. So when men betrays the bond that they have around them, I think that person absolutely is not discarded by God. God calls him. He calls him home. He whispers in his heart. He calls him to not be perfect, but rather to be honest, to speak the damn truth, no matter how difficult it would be. So every man carries a divine instinct to provide, to produce something that sustains life. So the first P is pain. The mark of a man is his ability to shoulder pain, and the image there is Jesus putting his shoulder to the cross. The second piece, to be present. I see Jesus hanging on the cross, seeing that Peter and his wife and the guy next to him, he's present. He's hanging there and he's seeing, he's observing. He's not escaping. I imagine him lying down at that place where they hit him with a cat of nine tails and turning his back so that they could hit him. He's leaning into the pain. After that, he provides. So it's pain, it is presence, then it's protection. Sorry, it's protection. He protects, even on the cross, he protects a mom from losing the pain of losing her son. He protects the world from the consequences of sin and death. It's what he does. And now we come to the space where he provides. He provides. So every man has a divine instinct to provide, to produce something that sustains life. Jesus providing on the cross. But when we give our energy into this false pit that is addiction, our provision dries up. We can't give life because we're consuming it in secret. And this is why true provision begins with confession. I think true provision begins with confession, providing the truth, being willing to face it, to shoulder it, to be present and to provide, and to protect in doing so. So, purpose, I think that's the fifth B. So we've got pain, we've got presence, we've got protection, we've got provision, and then the last one is purpose. And I think a man's highest calling is not his success. It's maturity. It's finding his purpose and stepping into it. It's to walk other men through the same fire that he survives. I think the biggest picture of a man fulfilling his purpose is him guiding his son, holding the back of the bicycle seat, guiding his son to also ride a bicycle, to duplicate, to transfer, to invest, to instill the stuff that he has learned. That gives purpose. It leaves a legacy. And that is our purpose, to leave a legacy. It's to walk other men through the same fire that person has survived. And these 5 P's is exactly what Grace Online exists for. We teach men to face the pain, to be present in it, to protect others from pain, and not just physical pain or danger. And then after they've protected, to provide also not just the physical stuff, but the emotional stuff, and then to walk in their purpose. We are not, I'm not doing these lives because we want to shame men. We're doing this bit because we want to build men up and help them become what they are meant to be, one truth at a time, one man at a time. So I'm doing these lives because this week we are looking to take in 2 new men into the Grace Online Men's program. And maybe this is for you, maybe this is for your husband that you know, and maybe it's for the man. Maybe it's for the man you love who's being divided. So send him this video or message us directly. You could use my number 082-557-1587, because the longer a man hides, the deeper the damage becomes. When he starts to speak, everything starts to change, because a broken man's voice is still the sound of hope. A broken man's voice is still the sound of hope. Thanks for listening to me this morning. Remember, he loves her, and it's possible for him to still betray her, even though he loves her. Sad truth.